this was me with my second baby. I was convinced that something was seriously wrong with him. He cried for hours in the evenings. He went frigid, red in the face. He was pulling up his knees and arching his back. We tried every reflux type trick and medication. We were keeping him upright, giving infant Gaviscon, giving him prescriptions. I even cut dairy out of my diet because I was breastfeeding him, and nothing really changed. He was still miserable. We were exhausted, and I felt like I was missing something. And even as a doctor, I felt totally unsure where the line was between normal colic and true reflux disease. So I want to explain the difference. Colic is a pattern of crying in an otherwise healthy growing baby. It usually starts around 2 weeks old, and it's often worse in the late afternoon and evening, and it can make babies just cry and cry, but we do not fully understand why. It's not caused by anything specific that you've done, and it's not caused by your feeding choices, although lots of us try and make changes to see if that can improve things. And you naturally want to help. I remember people around me saying, maybe you should take him to the doctor. And even though I kind of knew in my gut that he was putting on weight, he looked otherwise healthy, he was drinking his milk, he was just crying a lot. Now, I'd say if you're worried your baby has colic, it can be useful to try practical things like regularly winding them, holding them upright after feeds, moving them regularly, gently moving their legs. However, there's very little good evidence that any of the over-the-counter colic drops or special formulas or herbal cures make a big difference to colic. For most families, it involves just giving time, getting support if you can, taking short breaks when you're feeling overwhelmed. They're the real treatments. On the other hand, reflux is when the milk is actually coming back up from the stomach into the esophagus. Now, mild or silent reflux is quite common. Babies have short food pipes. They're often lying flat on their back, and that can mean that babies are sickly. They may bring up milk after their feeds, they may cough or hiccup more. But if they're otherwise settled, they're gaining weight, we usually do not need to medicate them. What we worry about is reflux disease with red flags, with poor weight gain or weight loss, feeding refusal, if they're vomiting, or if they're just constantly distressed around every feed. This is when we need to think about investigations and possible treatment. Now, looking back, my son had classic colic, maybe with a little bit of mild reflux, but he didn't need any treatment for it. Eventually, by around 4 or 5 months, when he started sitting upright more, those awful evening crying spells just faded. It felt at the time like nothing I did worked, because in his case, he did simply grow out of it. And if you're in that fog right now, you're not doing anything wrong. Keep an eye on those red flags, but be reassured if there aren't any red flags that they will just grow out of it over time. If you've struggled with colic or a refluxy baby, was there anything that helped you?